This is TK Trinidad with the Jasmine brand, and today we are talking all things love and marriage Huntsville with the very special guest. He is the CEO of Kingdom Reign Entertainment. He has produced shows such as Atlanta Housewives, Hollywood Divas, BET Encore, and so many other shows. Please welcome the King of reality TV, Mr. Carlos King. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. So let's be quite transparent. Let's get into your outfit first off as the host. You was dripping. You was you was like you stepped into that role like I've been here. This is part of my DNA. So let's talk about the outfit first. Like what made you choose the color, all that stuff. Hairline was on point, all that stuff. You was just perfection. So I just want let's be transparent with that. What was the game plan for the look?
I love you. No, what's funny is the stylist by the name of Aaron Christian, he styled me and he came to my hotel room with a ton of selections. And girl, when I saw that green, I was like, this is it. I'm like, it pops, it's classic.
Hmm.
I mean, the double-breasted suit. I mean, I was in love with it. And then he had the brooch with my initial C on it with the
I saw that.
Balenciaga shoes.
Hmm.
And then my barber hooked the boy up. So no, I wanted to make sure that as the host that I didn't, you know, outstyle my cast because it's all about them. But I knew that being in the center position, that I also had to look suitable too. But girl, when I say that suit got a lot of love,
Yeah, you were
I'm
you were
so
on
mad I
point.
have to return it.
I mean, I think there's more. I think there's more suits like that in your future. So you return it and you just get something else. So we good. So let's
Amen to
talk.
that.
So let's talk about the hosting role. We saw you going in and letting everybody know that you're going to be the host. Some people were scared. Some people were like, "All right, let's go." What made you decide that you were going to be the host? You were going to be the host.
Yeah. So, one of the things about Love and Marriage Huntsville is the show's been on for, I think, 3 years. And last year we did not have a reunion because of COVID. And I'm
Hmm.
up on keeping my cast safe. And I did not want to do a virtual reunion. No shade to those who do. I wasn't doing one. So I made sure to at least make up for lost time. And I knew that we had to have somebody that was able to really know the history of this
Hmm.
franchise and to really go there with the questions. And because I had experience hosting the Hollywood Divas reunions and the Next 15, the OWN network said to me, you should do it. And I was like, okay, I should do it. You're right. Let's do it. And I wanted to make my hosting opportunity a big story amongst the cast because my producers kept saying to me, you need to film them knowing you're the host. Like, I don't think you understand that it's going to be a big deal. Because,
Hmm.
I don't operate in that way. So, long story short, we made a part of the story, and I'm glad we did because you saw some folks were not happy.
I mean, because like you're almost to me. You can let me know if I'm incorrect. You're almost like the big brother. You know everything. So it's just kind of like if it's somebody who else is a host who's they're just watching, then it'll be like, okay, they're just going off what they see. But you know the behind the scenes. So I would be kind of scared. I'd be like, oh, is he gonna say something that didn't even happen on the show? Like what's so I could understand it. I was kind of scared for them. I was like, ooh, we gonna get some real tea out here.
And we
Now
did, girl.
you did.
We forced it up.
Yes. Now there were some moments where like you were even shocked. You were just like, oh. One of the moments where you asked Martell, like, whether he would be married still, like he never answered. Did you expect that or,
No. I knew that I wanted to get down to the nitty-gritty of the history of he and Melody's marriage, but also the history of his relationship with the other woman, you know, and I knew that he trusted me and felt comfortable telling me things. So when I say to you, I literally allowed myself to be present and allowed myself to feed off of what was given to me from the cast, in this case, Martell. So again, going back to me hosting, I don't think any other host could have extracted that out of him, at least to the point where he was so worried about his truth that instead of lying, he decided to just not answer the question, which honestly, I can appreciate that in a sense. Like, I can appreciate you at least saying, I'm so comfortable answering the question that I don't want to answer it. I prefer that versus like saying a lie for the sake of the lie sounding good. So I did appreciate that. But girl, when I say to you, I had no idea that he was not going to answer the question. And I had no idea that his fellow cast members were going to answer it for him.
Ooh, yeah, that was a hard moment for me because it's like you've been married to this person for so long, and now they're a divorce, but it's just kind of like, so like what does the past mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, somebody's like grateful for the past and everything, we've moved
Yes.
on, but it's just kind of like, so do you regret everything? I had like a lot of questions. So
No, it was interesting, and what was also interesting is a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're trying to hype up the other woman. You're hyping her up." I have no bone in this dogfight, right? I'm here to ask the questions that my audience wants to know.
mhm,
And Melody is somebody who I love and respect, and I will never do anything to intentionally disrespect her. You know how Beyonce has her beehive?
mhm.
Melody has a beehive called the millimeters.
Oh.
They're called the millimeters. She named them, right? Mariah Carey has her lamb. Rihanna has her navy. Melody got the millimeters, honey. And when I say the millimeters were on my page, like on the comments attack, how dare you disrespect Melody? And I'm like, I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. I had to
Mhm.
ask the question. And for me, I wasn't bigging up the other woman because again, I'm not in this relationship. What I was saying was Martell called this woman a peasant, right?
Mhm.
People call her coleslaw because they say she's a side item.
Mhm.
So for me, being somebody who's logical, when I said she's the whole restaurant, I wasn't saying I think she is. I was saying, Martell, you must think she's this because why else would you go back to this situation
Right.
for 5 years? Like
Mhm. And through a
you're
pandemic.
diminishing your relationship. So
Mhm. Yeah. So I don't know if you can. So let's talk about this other woman. There's been mention of her plenty of times, and we know there's a baby. He has a boy, so congratulations to them. Is there any plans of this other woman revealing herself in the show? Because I kind of want to, like, I feel like, and it depends on her personality, but I feel like she should have some time to at least, defend herself or,
mhm.
explain or have her say. Has there been any talks?
Listen, one thing about Love and Marriage Huntsville and the shows that I produce, I follow the reality, right? I follow what my cast members are willing to give. I'm
Mm,
not the type of producer who goes behind my cast members' back and reveals somebody that they had no idea was going to appear. I don't operate that way.
mhm.
Not no shade to those who do. That's just not my blueprint. So my answer to that is it would have to be something that the collective would want to do, and then it's a conversation. For
Okay.
example, Maurice, ex-wife Kaiwa, there was a conversation about her being on the show, like
Okay.
several conversations about that.
Hmm.
And to Kaiwa's credit, she agreed to do it because she wanted to share her side of the story. And Maurice wanted it to happen. And then Kimmy wanted it to happen. So
Right.
that's the way that I operate. It has to be the collective agreeing to it because I'm not here to disrespect anybody.
Okay. All right. Um, just because again, I think you're the big brother of these shows. There has been some rumors, cheating rumors of a lot of some of the husbands. I don't want to say a lot of husbands. Don't want to put it out there. Do you go and invest? Like, is there somebody on your team that goes and investigates? Not necessarily bring it to light, but so you're just not caught off guard, or you're just like, all right, you just see it happening. You're just like, you're just gonna let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, it's the latter. Again, I don't orchestrate anything. I'm not the FBI. I'm not going to, investigate these accusations. That's not the type of television that I produce, which is why my cast enjoy still working because one thing about the shows I produce is they all feel like, look, I signed on to do the show. I'm going to be open and honest about anything that comes my way. So it has to be organic. There's a lot of rumors about even a cast member. So what we do is we allow them to address it, but it's not anything remotely where producers are going behind their backs investigating. Girl, we ain't got that much time to do that.
I mean, there's some rumors that I hear over and over again. I'm just like, so are we gonna at least, just
yeah, but I feel like we have. I mean, listen, obviously, a lot of people are like, Carlos, you didn't ask Marcel about the side baby. I'm like, guys, he addressed it in the first 2 episodes of the season. Like he and Tisha had a sit-down conversation where she said, if this was ever to come out, I'm going to take half from you. Yeah. And he said, I don't have a baby. So no, one thing about this show, I will say, we do address rumors that are prevalent in their world. Because again, I bow down to my cast. They are so open and honest that they surprised me with that.
Yeah, it's I mean, kudos to them because I'll be like, yeah, we're not talking anything about anything. Let's just watch the kids play. Like that would be my thing. So that's the reason I'm not on reality. So kudos to them.
Girl.
So you said that, and you do have the eye as far as picking the right people to be, the main people on the show. With that with that said, when you have the cast fully together, do you already forecast like, okay, these two are going to have problems? This is like, do you kind of see certain things that like, you don't know exactly, but you see some stuff happening?
I mean, don't call me Miss Cleo, but I do feel like I have the wherewithal where I see things before they happen. I don't know what that's about. Again, I don't know what to call it, to be honest with you. But to answer your question, yes, I can predict exactly where things are going to go based on the insight that I get from my cast. So when you're doing a show, you speak to each and every cast member in nausea. Like you have to get everything out of them for you to understand where their story's going. So you know everything. So you may know that, oh, this person may not like this person, or this person has these strong convictions that's against this person just by courtesy of their convictions. Right. So you know things in that sense, but I'm not ever surprised by anything. I see things based on the fact that I just have conversations with them and I can pretty much understand where things are going. And I credit that to being a journalist since high school. Like I just, once you tell me a story, I pretty much can predict the outcome.
Okay. So you kind of knew, because it's kind of like Tiffany. She kind of rubs me the wrong way, but then I could see both sides. So did you like, after you talked to her and everything, you already kind of knew that she was going to just be fully transparent and
Yes. So we did a series of casting because I wanted to bring a new couple with a different perspective. Because one thing I don't want to do with this show is have the storyline still out or things become predictable. So I remember watching Tiffany's casting tape, and I would never forget this. I was on a plane for 4 hours and there was nothing to watch. So I said, let me just work. So I was watching Tiffany's casting tape and I was texting my producer like, oh, this girl is something. Like she speaks her mind without knowing what she's saying is interesting. And to me, that's the beauty of a reality star is when they have no filter. She had no filter. She admittedly was a fan of the show. She knew Melody. Huntsville is this big, so everyone knows everybody anyway. And she had an opinion. And one thing I know about working on shows is oftentimes, and this may be a surprise to your reality, oftentimes when you interview people to be on a show, they don't have an opinion. And that's not real life. That's not interesting to watch. So because she had an opinion and she wasn't this loud person with it, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like she was very discreet. And you're like, is that shade? Like, what is that? So I see why people have this love-hate relationship with her, because she's hard to figure out. But I'm hoping that in this new season, you'll get to see more than what you saw last season.
Yeah, I feel like Tiffany, like I think no matter where you are, I think everybody kind of knows a Tiffany. Like it's just kind of like you know, you're either friends with her or she's that chick in the office where you're like, I'm good. But opposed to the extremes, you know what I'm saying? Like some people will see, you know, the yelling and all that stuff. That's an extreme. That might not be part of your life, or it might be your anti them. But Tiffany, I feel like Tiffany's everywhere. You can see the Tiffany everywhere. It's just like, and then that quote, I was just kind of, that's a whole nother. I don't want to take up the time.
Tell me which one.
I mean, the one where her first meeting where she's talking about the sun. I was just kind of like,
oh yeah.
Like, you know, that's the rules of the game. You don't talk about people's children. Like that's one of the top 10. Like, I mean, let's, you know, it was.
I know now, girl.
It was one of those things that kind of threw me off. I was like, ooh, you didn't want to pull her aside, and you weren't even sure. Like, you know, I think that's the same thing with me. Like, just being, you know, part of the journalism industry for so long. Like, I want to know the facts first before I say anything. Or if I'm not sure, I attribute it. It's like, this is what I heard, but, you know, and then if it's something I heard, I don't even bother because I don't want, you know, that's the reason I'm not on, you know, reality TV. So here we are.
Same here, girl.
I think we're going to get into that. I have a question about that. So you announced season 4. Yes. What is the hopes? Because I know with reality TV, there's nothing that, you know, is scripted. But what are your hopes for season 4 for the show?
Based on where we left off, I hope that we can really uncover what happened on the Atlanta guys trip. That broke the internet. So I'm hopeful that we can really uncover what happened on the guys trip in Atlanta. So that's one.
Please.
And listen, I want to bring fresh storylines to this new season. You know, I want to show how Martell and Melody are living, you know, as single people. I think the audience is very curious to see what that looks like. And I want to be able to introduce new faces. I think the biggest thing for me, again, is I don't want to tell a stale storyline.
Right.
And I think the reason why Love and Marriage Huntsville has been like this little engine that could is because every season something bigger and bigger and bigger happens. And you're like, wait, Carlos, I need to catch up on this. So there's a lot of stuff already happening. We started shooting 2 weeks ago. And girl.
Uh-oh.
In
2 weeks in? Before Christmas?
Girl, talk about a Christmas gift. This cast, listen, I may be Santa Claus, but this cast gives me gifts. Like, they're my little elves. They are fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like what I've heard time and time again from people who have been on reality shows is that at some point you just forget when the camera's there. Because like Martell will be saying some stuff and I'm just kind of like, would you, like, you know there's a camera there, right? Like, but then it could just kind of feels like at some point you've already signed on, you're going into season 4. Like by the time season 2 comes around, you're just like, we're here. Like, I don't even.
Like the jig is up. It is what it is.
Yeah, because he says some wild stuff sometimes. It's just kind of like.
I know, but I gotta be honest with you. I love that about him is that, because again, I've been producing reality for like 15 years. So I'm used to people like, I'm not talking about that. Or, nope, I don't feel any kind of way.
Right.
So I appreciate when someone is just honest. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that may sound like crazy, like Carlos's honesty, but the reason why you, for example, are like, I can't believe you said that is because you know that he must have meant it if he said that shit on camera.
Yes. Yeah, and it's just kind of one of those things where what I do love about the show is there's a great balance. You're seeing relationships, you're seeing black love, and you're also seeing the fact that, we as humans, we as the community are not perfect. But, we're also not the stereotypes. We're not, you know, all the, what I'm talking about, the black stereotypes, the food check, the all that stuff. I don't even need to say it. And so I really love seeing that and then see everybody going through their problems. And, Mel, even there was a line, I can't remember who said it. It's like, oh, well, you have 4 kids, you can't find love. She's like, no, I'm not gonna let that negativity come to me. I believe in
Yeah.
myself. I believe that I deserve that. And that's often a stereotype that, comes along with it. So I love that being showcased, that black love does exist and it's not perfection. 15 years, 15
Yeah.
years of marriage is not perfection. 1 year of marriage is not, it's all work. So I really love that balance of it.
And I think, well, thank you for that. And I think even for me, I'm gay and I'm not in a heterosexual relationship, but I learned so much from my cast. And I have so many friends who are single, and I have so many friends who are married, but they both collectively say to me, this is real. And I'm learning so much about relationships, or, what's been so interesting is this, and a lot of people may not understand this. I get more messages in front of my face or on the comments where people really want Martell and Melody to get back together. They are like, I understand what he did or I understand what happened, but I just love them together. And I think that just goes to show you what you said, like black love and love in general, there's so many different facets of that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the beauty is no one's perfect, no relationship is perfect. We have
Right.
celebrities who we admire that have been through the ringer, but they're still together and we root them on. So that allowed me to look at love and marriage in terms of there's people out there who are rooting for them to come together again. And I think that's the beauty in people really respecting the sanctity of marriage and relationships and saying things may not be perfect, but I don't want to see them break up.
Right. No,
Which
yeah, I agree. There are moments where I'm like, man, y'all should get back together. And then, Martell says some stuff. I'm just kind of
I
like,
know.
never mind. Just you have a lot to figure out. Maybe in a couple of years. Um, with that being said, we had a reality guest host for one of the Real Housewives reunion shows, Nicki Minaj. Did you get to watch her? Her being a host, and what do you think of the possibilities of having a celebrity host? I mean, you did an amazing job, so I'm not trying, trying to remove you from the position. But what do you think of, having a celebrity guest host for a reunion special?
No, listen, let me start by saying I thought Nikki did a fantastic job because you saw that she was a fan of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me happy because I call it stunt casting. When you cast a celebrity or an A-list star or a notable person for the sake of trying to get ratings. I just think
Mm-hmm.
that's whack, to be honest. But I enjoy the fact that she was truly a fan of the show. And the way she went about asking the questions, I loved every minute of it. So listen, I don't copy other people's work.
Mm-hmm.
I never did that in school. I ain't gonna do that in my career. But I will say, I do think there's other ways to incorporate celebrities or notable figures in a way that I have been thinking about myself. So
Okay.
yeah, I think for me, it's a matter of again, not getting stale when it comes to doing your job. And I think Nicki Minaj was a perfect example of just doing something different and seeing if it worked. And in my opinion, I thought it worked.
Okay. So here's another, and again, I definitely don't want you to steal people's, ideas, but, even just having you like a social commentary after every episode. Just more of like just your opinion, almost like how Issa Rae does her thing with Insecure. Again, not trying to don't want any
Oh
deal
no,
stealing, none of
I'm
that.
with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could
Yeah.
see you doing that. Is there any plans in the works for that, or even just like a little IG? Like, look, these folks are crazy. Like just the behind the scenes that doesn't, because even with the reunion show, you had 3 episodes, and you probably could have done 2 more. So even just having the behind the scene tidbits that didn't make the cut. Like, is there any plans for that? Just just saying, just putting it out there.
You are so smart. I love it. We're in conversations about that, yes.
Okay.
Because it is what you said. And again, if I were to do something like that, I would want it to be unique and different. But I love what Andy Cohen is doing. He's somebody who I obviously worked with before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's such a wonderful, wonderful example of how a producer behind the scenes can have a career in front of the camera. So I do adore him. And I do look at Issa Rae and what she's doing. I think it's called A Sip with Issa.
Yeah, or the wind
Yeah,
down, something like
yeah,
that. I watch
something
it
like
every
that.
Sunday, but I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. What what has been a privilege for me is the fact that the OWN network has been a great partner in regards to the shows I do for them. And not only that, when I say to you, I have a loyal fan base of people who really take heed to what I present to them and what I say and my every
Mm-hmm.
word. And I think when you have that much privilege and honesty, you should do something with it. So I would love to continue seeing what that looks like, because I do agree with you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Now you did mention the OWN network, and I know this is, you probably get this question all the time, but I haven't heard the answer because I did some extensive research on your previous interviews. Have you and Lady O, Miss Oprah, like sat down? Has she talked about the show to you? Do you guys have like are you on speed dial? Any of that type of stuff? That's just more my personal question, just because
Yeah, of
you're on the
course.
network.
Well, obviously we know each other.
Yeah.
And thank you, Lady O, for all you do for me and the company. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But no, listen, I will say this. I have been told you should always be happy when you don't get a phone call from certain people, because that means you must be doing good.
True.
So we may not talk every day or on speed, chat dial or whatever. But I know she's pleased. And when I say to you, it's just been a huge blessing to be somebody who watched her when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to provide content for her network that actually is working. That's such a gift. And when I say to you, I'm so appreciative of her and the team over there at the network. They really allow me to just make great TV with the best intentions, with the best honesty, and working with the best of the best. And I would love to continue that effort.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'll take that. I might have, when we're done filming, I have some more clips, but I'll take that for now. So another thing I do love is that you went outside the box. Like, when you think of reality shows, you have the major cities like New York, Atlanta, LA, stuff like that. And you went to Huntsville. No shade with Huntsville. I actually know, quite a few people from there, but it's just a different lifestyle. I live in LA. It's a different, what I hear is a different lifestyle. So now, is there any plans as far as doing a reality show in other places like Huntsville? Is there like spinoffs or anything? Okay.
There could be.
Okay.
Listen, it is my dream to franchise Love and Marriage. And there could be a city that, is on the map, that you all will love to see what happens as it relates to continuing seeing Black couples. So, if you want to see a different city in Love and Marriage, stay tuned.
Okay. That's that journalism background. All right, I got you. I know when to stop pushing That was very all right. I got you. I'm just gonna wait, like everybody else, patiently wait. I got it. I got it. So now, with Real Housewives of Atlanta, they announced some of the new cast members. Excited. Obviously, I don't want you to say. No, I don't want you to. I know you're not gonna say anything negative about it, but is there any? What do you think of the new cast?
One thing I'm hearing about the new cast members is they're bringing it, which is great. I mean, listen, you got Marlo who has the peach, which I think is a great,
Mm-hmm.
great idea. And I'm really looking forward to this new season. I'm hearing nothing but great things. Because, I stick out my ear to the streets now. I am the king of reality television. So I know everything. And they have a new showrunner over there who used to work, not used to, he still does, Potomac Housewives.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of my mentees and he's doing a fabulous job. And I think this may be one of the best seasons just based on like what the word is on the street. So I'm personally looking forward to watching this upcoming season. And you got Sheree that's back and Sheree's
Mm-hmm.
TV. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be I'm actually really interested to see this dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And you
quite
guys have been
interesting.
spilling a lot of tea, which is good.
I mean, look,
Y'all know
Jasmine
everything.
Brand,
Y'all know more than me.
it's one of those things where I feel like it's the same type of principle. It's like, journalistic background, but there might be a little tea here and there, but just enough, not overspilling, not, just enough where it's just like, this is what's happening. We're keeping it very, so
Yes.
that's,
I need
I'm,
to know whether or not a dog treat was thrown.
look, that's, that's,
Uh,
that's, that's, That's for them to answer. I am just merely doing my job and asking the questions. That's that's about it. So you did mention it. Last question. You are like the king of reality. You brought so many different shows. Reality TV has been around for a minute. Like I remember when it first started, people were like, "This is terrible." It just is taken away from scripted shows, and now you're finding a balance because there's just so many networks, so many channels now. Where do you think, or where do you see reality TV going? Because it seems like it's evolving. So where do you hope for it to go? Where do you see it going?
listen, reality TV is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth, honey. I'm the king of it. So it ain't going nowhere. Where I do think it's going is I think more people are just they want more realness and they want more things to be unexpected.
Hmm.
There are a lot of fake reality shows out there where you can watch it like, child, this is so fake and phony, and I don't know.
Hmm.
I think people are getting tired of that. And one of the reasons why Love and Marriage Huntsville has resonated with the audience is because when you watch it, like you said, you're like, these Huntsville folks are living the life
Hmm.
of, of what's real. And they're attracted to that. And that was also a lesson for me. I created this show because I wanted to show a different side of Black folks who live in a different part of the country. So for me, that allowed me to create Bell Collective in Jackson, Mississippi. So I want to do more shows that aren't unexpected. We have a lot of things coming up at Kingdom Reign Entertainment to where we are going to be that because we are the future of reality television.
I agree. I agree. Now you did make reference to this, and I want to say I humbly disagree. You said that you didn't want you couldn't do a reality show, you being you in the reality show. I disagree because you are the king of reality and it takes a lot. You're probably managing a lot of people, you're doing a lot of things, probably all those conversations. And me being a journalist, aka nosy, because what journalist isn't nosy? Because that's what
Come
we
on.
do. I want to see the behind the scenes, like what makes the king of reality, like what you do. So I know you say you don't want to do reality like having people follow you 24/7, but maybe like a behind the scenes 24/7 type thing. You know how they have like fight night, but they just
Oh,
do it for you.
okay. Well, listen. The reason why I know Miss Winfrey is because I was one of the producers who produced the last season of her talk show. It was called Oprah Season 25 Behind the Scenes.
Hmm.
It's the show that launched the OWN network in 2011, I think the year was. And you got a chance to see Oprah talk to the producers, and you got a chance to see how she was before she got on stage and how she was after she got off the stage,
Mm-hmm.
and just what her life was like at work. You know, you never went home with her really, but you saw other stuff. So to your point, I would be open to that. And what's funny is, you know, we do a lot of behind the scenes stuff on the reunion shows and on the shows we do, whether it's the encore, where you saw me talk to Irish and Misha, like, y'all want to go home? Okay, got it. And what's funny is all the viewers are like, Carlos, people know you. So when they see you pop on camera, for some reason they gravitate towards like, what is he about to do? So I think you're onto something again. So yeah, I'll keep you updated, honey. And
I mean, I just seen. I could
I need
see
to
it like you
hire
at
you
the.
to work for me, child.
I mean,
Yes.
look, I am from the Caribbean, so I do multiple jobs. So I take as many jobs as possible. Look, but I mean, I could see you at the table and then record, like, you know, obviously you can't give away, you know, they bleep out the stuff that needs to be bleeped out, but on the phone conversations, and of course, you know, we want to get the, you know, you the Kang, so the Kang needs, you know, a partner. So we definitely want to see a little bit of that. That's again my personal,
No,
but
I think you're right. Listen, because again, I'm when it comes to my personal life, like who I am at home and my family, like that's off limits. But I do think, to your point, again, what we shot with Miss Winfrey on the last season of her talk show, I would never forget this. So many people said to her, like, this show is so good.
mhm.
And she was always surprised because she was like, I'm just talking. So I do get what you're saying. And because I had experience doing that, I would 100% be open to doing that. Because I do think people are like, how do you create shows? What happens behind the scenes when shit goes left? Because, girl, it goes left every day.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, just that's what happens when you're the king. All right, this is the last question. I promise, last question. We're coming up on a new year. What are your goals for, you know, the kingdom, for yourself, for all the shows? What's the, you know, ultimate hope?
For 2022, I just want to increase the amount of volume of shows that we have at Kingdom Reign Entertainment. I want to be able to showcase more of, like you said, what I do and who I am, because I have realized that people are curious, and I want to be able to constantly provide an outlet for people to really get what they want out of me or the shows that I'm doing. So there's a lot of things happening thus far that will be announced in 2022 that is going to be surprising and shocking and gag worthy, and
Okay.
I'll make sure you have all the exclusives, child. But we are definitely, you know, on the path of just creating some great stuff for you guys. I don't even have, and when I say I, my team included, you know how a lot of people are like not working until the new year.
Hmm.
We have so much going on that we are working around the clock until Christmas and then New Year's Eve.
Yep.
So it's because we have a lot of stuff happening in 2022 that I came with you guys to see. So I'm hoping for an abundance, prosperous, protective, highly energized, you know, 2022.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. When is has season 4 been announced as far as the launch date? When we're
No,
gonna
but
see
you're
it?
going to get that in a couple of, you'll get that 2022 much sooner than you think.
I mean, we 2 weeks into filming. I can't even.
Girl, we are 2 weeks
Oof,
into filming.
oof.
And it
All right.
already, child.
Yeah, you don't even. I mean, just I I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of people's like, let's sit and talk and you know, break this down. Like the therapy stuff, that was such a great episode because I mean, the surprise, like I understand why she had to surprise them because, you know, I think you have two camps now. You have Black people who, you know, are very serious and they take it's like, look, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get a professional. And you still have a camp where it's like, I'm good. It's like, but you're not.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was another, like, you know, and the therapist was just, he reminded me of my uncle. There's this very like old school West Indian uncle that was just like, no, you're here. Let's ask the question. Like, I really liked him. He was awesome. So, you know, there's just so many things that I wish I could just like, you know, and I know you don't have time, but let's sit out 6 hours, like, you know, have some drinks. Let's unpack all of this because there's a lot. So I can only imagine. So thank you so much for your time. I
No, thanks for
definitely
having me. This was a great interview. You're really, I want to say this to you. You're really good at your job.
thank you. I
You
appreciate
are.
it.
You're
Thank
really
you.
good.
I try to look outside the box, not give the standard questions because you know.
No, you have the package.
Thank you. Well, I'm waiting for that, you know, for the email to come. You know, just come on part time. Just shoot me the big time ideas. I'll give that to you. Period. Like I want to see everybody winning. I have so many ideas, but thank you again for coming on. Much abundance to you and your team for 2022. Shows, positivity, all that great stuff. That is it. My name is TK Trinidad. Go to Jasmine Brand, thejasminebrand.com for all your Black entertainment, let's say entertainment pleasures. Till next time, guys. Ciao.